Good morning, day 21 and level 2 for all of New Zealand except Auckland. Kia kaha, Auckland. We're thinking of you. Anyway, my wonderful husband made me a coffee this morning so I could start in good form and not have a little mini breakdown before I even get going. So, cheers to that, man. And he's taken our diggy dog off for a ride in the car to pick up our son, who's an essential worker at New World. Anyway, it's our first day that we've been able to properly do that. Go that man. Right, I've got 2 projects to show you that I finished. Hang on a minute. Right, project 1, which I think I showed you yesterday, but here it is. 2 nights ago I started that, and that's a hug that's spoken for already for a beautiful young lady that I love to pieces. Anyway, there you go, having a good hug. And this one, which I was still in debate about the colours yesterday, but I've done a nice chunky edge without being overwhelmingly chunky, and it's also a lovely hug, and that one's waiting for a home. But anyway, so over the last couple of days I've gone a little bit mad. I did those 2 and thought, right, that's the end of my flurry, but it wasn't. Just one moment. So I started this one with you guys, and it's growing. And then last night, after finishing the green and blue, I liked the colours so much and thought, oh, that would make a really nice baby blanket. So I've started on a baby blanket, and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows compared to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. See, it just takes so much longer. So maybe I'll do a few more baby blankets to slow me down. However, I don't see very well, and this is tiny, and in response to all that tininess, I went mad and got out my number 15 and started this. Now I want to talk about this today. This is made of, like I've said before, that scarf stuff that you're supposed to pull an edge of an all twist round, and anyway, I don't do that. So I'm gonna do a little lesson in crocheting with found materials. So my next layer on the scarf is going to be lace from out of the cupboard. So I just attach it like any other yarn. Now I haven't tried this on this work, so I don't know whether I like the colour or whether it'll go well, but I think it will. So I have tried it once before, but my crochet hook was too small, and that was before I got my number 15. So I'm just going up a row now. So rather than joining it at the start of the row, I'm making the most of what I have left of my chunky scarf yarn because I can't do anything else with it. If I cut it off, it's literally what I will throw away. Okay, so where I joined it and going in. Now, I crocheted lace in the early beginnings because it was something that was quite a lot thinner, but when I crocheted it, it buffed up into the most beautiful trebles. And so I've been on the lookout for lace for some time to crochet, and often in second-hand shops you'll get stacks of, look, it's quite pretty, and it's texturally very different, but not too bad. Yeah, in second-hand shops you get stacks of things that people don't buy but seem to get stored up there, and lace, all kinds of lace and cord is some of it, and knitting needles. Nobody wants knitting needles, nor do I, but if you're ever looking on the lookout for knitting needles, and try a second-hand shop, because they often have all the ones I've been in have had big stocks of knitting needles. So yeah. Okay. Wow. Check this out. I'm loving it. Anyway, found materials, and I've got a little bit of lace left to go, so that'll get me a little bit of a side, and then I've got a different kind of lace again. Yeah, so sometimes you go into wool shops and they've got bins of huge chunky stuff that are really cheap because people don't know what to do with it. So you can do this with it. Get yourself a number 15 and crochet away. Now, this is also a kind of a lace, and I'm not sure that this is the label for it, but it's called Bellevue. Anyway, it's called that. So I'm going to add this in next, and yeah, see what happens. So we're just doing just the same stitches as we did with the smaller hugs, and we're creating, I'm not stitching in the ends yet because there's so many different textures in here. I want to take my time and work with them, so it's something that I'm not doing. So as you can see there, and I made a mistake, and it unpulls just as easy as anything else. I made a mistake on the corner, so I'm going around that corner to, wow. So looking at this, I need to tie the ends a bit longer so it finishes in a better place, and it'll mean that I've got more end to stitch in, and I can better hide those ends as well. You would think that making it shorter might be the thing to do, but making it shorter will actually mean that I'll find it difficult to hide the ends when I get going. 1, those ends at the end. 2, and that's my 3rd stitch. 3. The thing with that, doing it on a corner like that, is that we're going to put another layer on top of this, so that join will be easy to hide. Right, here we go. And heading around that corner. My cousin has a cat who loves her hug. I gave my cousin a hug. Well, she chose one with sparkles in. Anyway, the cat pinches it off her beard and and snuggles up to the hug and drags it around the house. And it's not the first cat that's fallen in love with a hug. I ended up making a hug each for my daughter's 2 cats, so that they would leave hers alone. And yeah, it's, I don't know, maybe I smell like catnip or something. But cats really love my hugs. I had a lady at the market buy a hug for her cat, and she came back and she told me how much her cat loved the hug. She bought it because she was telling me how her cat was destroying her favourite blanket on her bed by pawing it. And so anyway, the cat got a hug and the blanket destroying ceased, which is really nice. So the other reason I'm doing this is I have all these bits and ends of chunky stuff, all kinds of stuff in my wall box, and every time I went in to look for something, there's another big chunky bit, and really not long enough to go round an entire thing. So I decided to do this patchwork. Anyway, I'm really loving it. So, crocheting found things and found items you can do. And this I'm not even sure who will love this hug, but it's feeling really good. And yeah, lace. So the baby one is literally the same as what I've done, except that I'm using a number 4 instead of a number 15. And yeah. My little tip for the day, if you get your crochet hook stuck and rather than pulling it back to pull it out, just push it all the way through, and it means that you don't start pulling the threads in your work. It damages far less if you just push it all the way through, and you can retrieve it easier too. Anyway, have a nice day, and we finished the detectorists. It was a really good little laugh, and we're set for a stormy week. So it's inside, working hard as usual. Ciao, Bellas.